what Marley does, it allows venues to offer a $0 down payment to couples. We are a web-based application where couples can apply. We check their credit and see if they apply for our financing. And if they are approved, they're good for the money. And Marley works with venues directly to work on the flow of funds. And what this allows venues to do is really convert customers. A lot of couples spend a lot of time worrying about the money, and this alleviates a huge burden on the couples when instead of a $4,000, straight up payment, it's broken down into $300 a month. And that really allows, venues to focus on what they do best and giving the wedding of the dreams to their customers and not focusing on trying to help them make their repayments.
Josh, welcome to the Venue RX. Thank you so much for being here today.
Great to be here.
This is going to be a very cool conversation that we have today. I'm excited about it for a number of different reasons. What you do is something that I've been fascinated by, and I think there's a huge value add for the wedding and events community. So I'm excited to dive into what you do, and thanks for taking the time out of your busy schedule.
No problem. I appreciate you saying that. That keeps us going. And so, that makes us excited to build. But yeah, happy to dive in and share a little bit about the background myself and about Marley.
Yeah, well, and before we jump into your background, because I want to jump into that, but just for someone who's, just joining the show, listening for the first time, what does Marley do? If people are not aware of Marley yet, what does it do, and what are you building?
Yeah, so what we're building is an all-in-one platform for venue owners to, increase their operations. Our first product is financing. So we work with venues to offer flexible payment options to couples looking to book their special event. It's not only weddings, but, quinceañeras, birthday parties, any event. And we work with venues to offer that at the point of sale and really, try to empower the venue owner and, grow their business.
That's huge. That's so huge. I can't wait to ask you more of like the details about that, but we could kind of get that as kind of a high level overview of what Marley does. Could you, before we jump into that, could you give me a bit of a professional background on, who are you? How did you get into this?
Of course.
All those things.
Yes. So I grew up working at my uncle's wedding venue and spending summers there, got to see the process, how it was like working at a venue in and out. Afterwards, went to school studying finance and computer science, and afterwards worked as a banker, working on some of the largest transactions in financial services. And there, was working with related companies and realized, my uncle would have loved a service similar to a financing solution. And so started talking to other couples, and they just noted horror stories of high interest rate personal loans, lack of flexible payment options at the venue. And it was just a moment of reckoning. And so a year ago, decided, along with a few folks, to bet on ourselves, left our jobs and locked ourselves in our room and, coded the first lines of code of our product, got a demo up and running, and started getting venues on our platform. And so, our whole story is trying to build a product that my uncle would be proud of and and try to make other venues really excited and grow their business.
That's huge. Where was your uncle's venue? I'm curious.
Yeah, it was in the Chicago suburbs.
Okay.
So it was a South Asian wedding venue. And so got to have some time over there, and afterwards, really understood the pain points of the business and was very, it was a great experience, making like $5 an hour stacking chairs. So it's coming full circle.
Yeah. Well, and I'm curious. I love hearing the backstories because oftentimes that informs, what you're doing, right? Where you're going, where you're building to solve some of those pain points. And so I'm curious, Marley, you said it's something to help streamline operations. Is the vision bigger than the finance piece?
Yeah. So the vision I see for Marley is that when I was working, at my uncle's venue, we would spend so much time with invoicing, payments processing, accounting, and it would just be a huge time suck that would be extremely manual, using Excel, and, there was no real way to automate everything. And so making a, operating system for these wedding venues to increase the search optimization, to manually, to automatically track the leads and bookings and, have them focus more on growing their venue instead of managing it. And so that's the end goal of Marley. But we see the demand from a few products, and so we're really working on specializing our product suite and making it the best that venue owners are excited about.
Yeah, that's the part that I'm really excited about. I know there are other CRM solutions out there. The financing though is surprisingly scarce. And I think with so many other large ticket items, whether it's a car or something like that, we're pretty used to paying for it over time. Whereas with a wedding venue or at the wedding, sometimes, you're paying 25, 35% deposit, and then you've got maybe 2-3 payments, something like that. And so tell me a little bit about what Marley does now in terms of the financial product.
Yeah. So you make a great point. A lot of couples, they see a lot of sticker shock. I'm sure when you give tours, the main question they always ask is, so how much does this cost? And it's always a little, awkward of an interaction. And, what Marley does, it allows venues to offer a $0 down payment to couples. We are a web-based application where couples can apply. We check their credit and see if they apply for our financing. And if they are approved, they're good for the money. And Marley works with venues directly to work on the flow of funds. And what this allows venues to do is really convert customers. A lot of couples spend a lot of time worrying about the money, and this alleviates a huge burden on the couples when instead of a $4,000, straight up payment, it's broken down into $300 a month. And that really allows, venues to focus on what they do best and giving the wedding of the dreams to their customers and not focusing on, trying to help them make their repayments.
Totally. Or even we spend a fair amount of time, talking to people if their payments are late or if, they haven't set up auto payment or anything like that. We're going and we're saying, hey, can you please make this payment? Sometimes things are tight. Explain to me from the perspective of the venue, what is happening in the interaction between Marley and the venue?
Yeah, so Marley has a software that the venues are onboarded to. And so we provide the venue with the software to allow them to give, applications to couples while they're visiting. So they can apply on their phone, they can apply on their website. A lot of times on the venues on our platform, they have a simple website banner that allows them to get more couples because, I don't have to worry about the money or the down payment. And we provide, basic marketing materials, and we have a team that works with venues to make sure that they're able to get, as many customers and fill up their bookings as possible. And so our software, we're a software first company, and those tools work. We work with the venue to offer, our financing solutions to couples. Further down the road, we'll have more product suites, tailoring to each venue's specific needs and wants.
Got it. So if I'm hearing you correctly, the couple, you have a relationship with the couple. And so Marley's kind of the middleman for the finance piece between the couple and the venue.
Yeah.
Marley explain that a little bit.
So what Marley does best is we work with the venue, so we're embedded with you guys. So we work directly with you. We're really close with the venues on our platform, and we want to create a great relationship. And so you'll be onboarded to the Marley platform, and from there you can give tours to couples, and if they're interested in a financing option, you are now enabled through Marley's login system to send in forms and allow financing and enable that and unlock significant more revenue at your venue. And additionally, you don't have to worry about, installment payments over time. You get the money up front, which is a huge value add for venue owners who are more cash flow sensitive.
Yeah, so that's what I was curious about that because I know just from running 5 venues, going on 6 venues ourselves, cash flow is always something that's top of mind. And a lot of times, you're working off of deposits. And so, you guys, is it like a lump sum payment or do you break it up? Like, how do you guys work?
Yeah, it's a lump sum payment. So we provide venues with a lump sum payment minus processing fees. And so allows venues to keep the lights going. I know my uncle had a lot of trouble keeping his operations open because of cash flow issues. And so we alleviate a huge accounts receivable problem for venue owners, and it makes life so much easier.
Totally. That's another thing that I am fascinated by with Marley, because depending on how you do your accounting, most people that I've talked to in this industry and just how we do it, we use cash accounting. And so we're recording the payments when we receive them in the bank account, not when, the event takes place.
On an accrual basis, yeah.
Exactly, not on an accrual basis. If we worked with Marley, it sounds like we could have a lot more flexibility, because when we book a wedding, we're getting 100% of the wedding right there. And there isn't...
Minus fees, of course. We have...
Yeah, totally. And I mean, regardless, you're going to pay transaction fees. If you're going to be using a credit card or any...
And our rates are lower than a credit card. And so the benefit of using Marley over a credit card is it's a lump sum loan amount that couples can pay, just set up auto pay that reduces the, credit card interest. Instead of, 35-40% credit card rates, Marley rates would be lower. And in addition, a lot of couples, when they get married, they take out a brand new card and max it out right away. And that reduces their credit card limits on couples. And so with Marley, you can get, put their venue and their whole wedding on a pay over time plan, while also keeping a credit limit going if they have any last minute expenses that they need to cover. So this really broadens, the spending power of the couple. And what we really, what we really see, happening is that a lot of couples on our platform are younger and looking to build up their credit score. And so before they make other large purchases in their lives, taking out a short-term loan allows them to increase their credit score, and reducing, interest payments on larger ticket items down the road. And so, I mean, it's a huge opportunity for them to get their financial lives going, on the right foot.
Yeah. I want to transition here in just a second, but I have one more question. People, in my opinion, are used to paying things over time, right? Again, big purchases, kind of like we talked about, whether it's a car, school, right? Student loan, like that.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean by student loans. So
yeah, they're used to paying it over time, and the wedding is kind of like that first big purchase that maybe they have to come up with a lot of cash up front, and that's why they're tapping into family members and friends and things like that. If someone's credit application isn't strong enough, is it a similar where they can get, maybe a parent or someone to co-sign to help strengthen the application?
So our platform allows for joint applications. So they're more than happy to bring a person that's more creditworthy onto the platform, or likewise, the spouses, use their credit, and then the couples have a joint bank account that they can use to pay for it. And so, there's a multiple flexibility on the couples end. And so we make it as easy as possible for them to, have pay for their wedding.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah. So obviously, what do you think was some of your, biggest problems when running a venue? I would love to get your thoughts.
Yeah, totally. Well, let me ask you, just before we transition to that, a tough question maybe. What do you do in the case that the wedding needs to get canceled, postponed, any sort of issue like that, where funds may have been already transferred to the venue, but then, you now have an outstanding loan amount essentially with the couple?
Yeah. So unlike credit cards, there's no chargebacks, because this is transfers of wire. These are wire transfers.
Okay.
Bringing, more protection to you as a venue owner. Secondly, we have a refund option on each merchant, page. So you can refund the total loan amount, and, those funds will get resettled. And, it's really up to the policy of the venue. And so we're working with venues directly on improving their language when they sign, to make sure that the refund policies are straight and secure. And so there's no, there's a lot more clarity in case there's any other events that happen that allow them to not book at their wedding on that date. So we work directly with them to make sure the language is crystal clear when couples book, and which is, an extremely important thing.
Got it. Because you're fitting inside whatever the venue's doing. So if the venue says there's no refunds of any payments, and it's like, okay, first payment, second payment, whatever. But I guess, I mean, what do you do? And maybe, we don't want to go into this, but like, what do you do if the venue is like, hey, we're not giving you any of your money back? Now they still have a loan out for, $5,000, $10,000, whatever it happens to be. Do you just keep collecting that, or is there some sort of insurance policy or something that kind of protects you?
Yeah. So that's why it's really important to make sure that we have venues on our platform that, are operating in good faith and, really want to make sure that the couples have a great experience for their wedding. Like, we're not trying to add stress to the process. We're trying to reduce it for both the venue and the couples at the same time. What I would say to that point is that we look at everything on a case-by-case basis, but our main precedent that we go off of is what the venue's current policies are. And if they don't have a policy, we'll institute a policy to make sure that there isn't any issues when those refunds happen, which are rare cases. We haven't had many, and we haven't had many issues with that. So, but we have a team that is working with venues to draft that language. And if the venue has repeated claims, I'm assuming that all the venues on our platform are operating in good faith, but they'll be noted down as fraud, and they won't be enabled for Marley anymore. So, it's a case-by-case basis, and we do a thorough vet of the venues on our platform to make sure they're doing business in good faith.
Yeah, that's huge. That makes so much sense. To answer your question, the cash. So what we do with being a venue management company, we're partnering with the owners to basically activate their properties, generate cash flow for them, generate a stream of income from their venue without them having to be actively involved. And so as a middleman between the couple and the property owner, who's 9 times out of 10 not involved at all. In fact, they may not even live in the state. They may not even be around.
Silent owners, they just have a manager. Makes sense.
Exactly. I want to be able to make the revenue process as seamless as possible. So the relationship that we typically have is revenue and then reporting. We're reporting on how many weddings are happening, on anything that they need to be aware of, and then on the revenue side. So if there's ways for us to make that seamless, if there are ways to realize the entire value of the project.
Your accounts receivable will be completely narrowed. And so that's what we want to streamline the AR for venue owners, because they're running a business, and we want to make their business as efficiently as possible.
Yeah. So I think something like this is, and what you're talking about, the financial product that Marley has, is absolutely essential. I think it matches with how people, and especially this newer generation, is used to spending money. And I really think it's weird that we don't already have something. And I know there are financial loans and different things out, but I've looked, and it's like, those are...
Yeah, we are a vertical specific solution. Like, we're weddings and special event focused only. And so we're not doing cars. We're not doing, any other, we're weddings only. Weddings are bread and butter. Like, that's why I picked this industry, and I built this, company in the space because, of my background and my passion for it. And I want to make sure as many couples as possible are able to, get the event that they want, especially since, younger couples are more, used to taking, installment payments rather than a one-time purchase. And so the culture has shifted. And so I understand a lot more venue owners are not understanding of that. But, I think over time, more and more people will realize that this is the way to unlock more revenue and more bookings and really grow your operation and streamline your accounts receivable. So I completely get what you're saying. And so we hope that many other venue owners will completely see where we're coming from and, modernize their operations.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, it's just like my phone here, it's a $1,200 phone, something like that. And I'm paying $30 or $50 a month or whatever it is, because after a year or two, I'm going to want to upgrade to something else. I basically run our business off my phone and my laptop. Right. And so, yeah, but I'm not paying for that. And the same thing with the laptop. Like, it makes sense, especially when you're a business owner.
Yeah. Like, it's a cash flow thing too. Like, a lot of people just don't have the cash flow, even though they're high earners, but they just don't simply have the cash flow. And so we solve a huge problem for, venue owners and couples, and allows them to get a bigger package while also more couples can book their wedding and, take a fair and flexible credit option.
That's awesome. Josh, take me through a very kind of practical roadmap of, so if I was using Marley at my venue, could you kind of give it to me from the life cycle of what happens? Client, the couple, they come out and tour, my salesperson maybe shares with them. Help me understand kind of from that, after they've toured and they're given the Marley information, then what happens?
Yeah. So, we try to make sure that, it's really important as a venue owner to make sure that all the couples know about financing options. You never know which couples would be interested in it. So it's imperative to make sure that, everyone in the family knows at least of this being an option down the road. And so we work with the venue by creating marketing materials, by putting a banner on their website, for example, saying $0 down payment, flexible, payment options, $400 a month, those kind of marketing materials that allows them to create more leads and more interest in bookings. And secondly, when the couples, see the website, see, how they can pay for the venue, they go tour it. And the salesperson obviously gives them a great tour because I'm sure you guys have a great venue and they love it. And so afterwards, the couple says, we're interested in financing. Let's check if we approve. And so your sales manager has an account at Marley. And so they log in to the platform where you can see all the loans on the platform and create a new application, and allows them to text it to the couple right away. So this is instant booking. And so while they're at the venue, they can apply and get approved in less than a minute. So we work with the credit bureaus to check their credit and to make sure they pass, our proprietary credit algorithm. And if they get approved, they send the loan docs and you're good to go. And that's an instant booking. And I think that's what's really makes us really passionate, because it incredibly, shortens the sales cycle. And so afterwards, you'll have a portal that shows the status of the funds dispersing, and then the couple has their own repayment platform. And right now, all the couples on Marley just set up autopay. They forget about it on our portal, and we haven't had any issues with repayment. And so it's been a great process, super seamless, really streamlined. And so our product is sending a text application link, or they can apply on the venue laptop as well. And there's marketing materials that we provide to make it as informed as couples can make as an informed of a decision as possible.
Josh, this is totally industry disrupting, because I don't know, and this is maybe something that it's on the roadmap, but you almost as a couple could retrain the industry a little bit to get their funding or their financing first. And if they can figure out how much they have in a loan or something like that, I mean, they're going to end up spending. People don't realize how much money they end up spending at the end.
That's a huge problem. Yeah. So we're working with a few partners to pre-qualify. So a lot of times we work with a few venues where couples can just quickly pre-qualify to see if they have the credit to afford the venue. And then afterwards, after they pre-qualified for all these venues, let's say 5, they go and tour them. Yeah. And so they already, that thing is already switched off. And so, that's the new culture we're setting and, trailblazing. And so that's why we're working hard on making this, changing the wedding industry, making a dent.
This is really, really exciting. And I even think of venue owners who maybe have a second venue in the works in their head, or even a property, purchased or whatever. This not only helps get that funded quicker, but then also, if they're already working with Marley and someone gets approved at one venue, but they want to go to another venue.
Automatic. Yeah,
absolutely.
And the beautiful thing here is, like, as a venue owner, you get to customize the amount, on a case-by-case basis for the couple. Obviously, the couple has to agree to the total amount, but for example, if the couple wants to go with an alcohol package or not, and so it really is a choose your own adventure on the total amount of financing. It's not one specific, 5-10K block. It's really customizable to the invoice that you'll be charging the couples. And so, I think that's what really makes it powerful for venue owners.
Well, and that's a question that I had. Does this work for blank canvas venues that are just space only, as well as companies or venues that may have bar packages, inclusive food, catering, all of that?
Yeah, it works with all types. We've been seeing a lot of success with the all-in-one packages because it's all bundled together and the couple can just make one simple, easy repayment rather than just paying down the venue, paying down the caterer. And so we've been seeing, success in both, but, the all-inclusive ones have been seeing the most application demand. Around two or three couples out of every 5 they tour are interested in applying for Marley. So it's really exciting. And so I think we're onto something big here and, transforming the wedding industry.
100%. Josh, this is slightly a different question, but for something like Marley, what are some of the reasons maybe that you are like, what slows down your growth, Marley's growth as a company?
Yeah.
Are there limits on a venues you can take?
So we work with a few lending partners across the United States. And so obviously this is a new vertical for them. And, we're onboarding as, many as possible that they can provide. And the limit here is just the demand from venue owners and seeing how many would be interested in going forward. And so just trying to convince owners that have been doing this for 10 to 20 years that they're missing out on a huge opportunity is the problem that we're trying to go forward. And so we're spending all of our time on really making sure that venue owners are excited. They would love the product and, they can really see a significant increase in their business and how they're doing it for the past 10 to 20 years and why adding Marley, can really grow it much more and take it from simple pencil to paper to being on the web. And I think that's a really powerful thing. But that's we're only as limited as venues are interested. And so that's why we're doing, that's why we're chatting with you, Jonathan. We're trying to get a great feedback and really make a product that venues are really proud of using and something that, as I said before, my uncle would be proud of using and save time and, grow their business. I know many of them are small business owners and trying to make ends meet. And so we're doing everything we can to empower them.
Yeah, absolutely. I see this as a huge opportunity as well for management companies, just like myself. And I think there are going to be a lot more management companies in the coming years because there's a certain economies of scale that happen when you're able to, have one social media person or one operations person who's operating multiple venues. Yeah. And a financial product like Marley makes 100% sense.
Mm-hmm. We're the financial infrastructure for all your wedding operations, and soon down the road we'll be adding more products and features that allow venues to increase their revenue and protect against other financial events. And that economies of scale plays true with us too. The more venues we have on our platform, the lower the fees, the more new products we can give them, and the more they can grow their business. And so it's a really interesting feedback loop we've got going on here.
Josh, if people are interested in working with Marley, what is the onboarding process like? Like from interest to, they're on the Marley platform?
Yeah. So the great thing about Marley is a really quick and simple onboarding process. We know that venue owners are extremely busy. It's wedding season. Like they have a million things, other things to do. So we want to make sure the onboarding process is as quick and seamless as possible. And so it's a simple, get to know you call. We really want to make sure that we really want to take care of the venues and get to know them. We're trying to make this a very personal, try to get a personal connection with them and really understand their story. Afterwards, we show them a demo, make sure that they understand it and, walk them through it. The third thing is we work with them and our team to improve their marketing materials, get them smart in how to sell it. And then afterwards, over the next few months, we meet with them monthly to check up on how they're doing, on if they're meeting our requirements or meeting, the checkpoints that we've worked on together when we first started. And so it's a continuous process. We work directly with you, 24/7 customer support. And so we're in constant contact, and it's a very personal connection. So the venues work with us directly. And so we're happy to answer any questions that they may have. But it's a very quick and easy process to get onboarded. And throughout the life cycle on being Marley, we're always in check with them.
Yeah, that makes sense. Where is, home base for you guys? So you guys are on the East Coast, West Coast? Where are you guys located?
Yeah, so we're in a little bit of a transition period right now. We're in New York City, but we're transitioning over to the West Coast. I don't know if it's the better weather or just being closer to SF, but that's our transition. So we'd love to, down the road, would love to have events with venue owners, host things over at home base, and try to get us, make it an ecosystem for other venue owners to get to know each other, and at the Marley offices. So that's what we're excited about.
Yeah, that I could totally see that being super cool, and even hosting events at properties. Yeah, like you're right there. Or
even at other venues that are onboarded at Marley's platform, and so hosting like webinar sessions, Q&A, getting some speakers involved, and try to make it a huge ecosystem by being part of the Marley network. And so I think there's going to be extreme advantages by getting partnered with us, early on, and being a core initial member. So we're excited. There's a lot of things in the road, and so we're always dreaming and always thinking of where we can take it.
Yeah. Before we wrap up today, I want to ask two questions. One is just about tech and startup world, culture, lingo. All of that is much more involved and refined, I think, than a lot of the business practices that happen in the wedding and event space. In a lot of ways, I think that some of the ways that the wedding and events industry does things are much slower, right, than tech or any of those things. Financial world.
Humans have been getting married for thousands of years. So, and technology is a brand new thing. So I completely understand why that is.
Yeah. I'm curious, as you are working in, you said you're possibly going into SF, transitioning from New York. Has it been difficult to explain kind of what the wedding industry does to maybe some of the more tech counterparts? Has there been challenges in that at all?
Oh yeah, I can give you an hour-long spiel about how there's a huge opportunity here in building a great product for a lot of people that need it, and so there's a huge disconnect that we see here between people in the wedding industry that see a product and the technology folks that are interested in all the buzzwords instead of focusing on building something that truly matters and that's actually going to be used, that's useful. Not some, AI generated cat. AI generated cat quotes. So, that's always the problem as a builder. But we received investment, and so we have people on the team that are excited and see the future of where Marley can go, and we're working closely with them to make sure that we can fully execute on our vision. And so we're completely excited, and we see this as a huge opportunity for venue owners to grow their platform, and getting tech people excited about that will happen down the road once we show the success and outcome with more venues on our platform.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. The last question is just about the economy, because I know there's so much when you're talking finance, you're talking about people spending a lot of money, regardless of how you feel about the economy, spending, a large chunk of money, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 plus on a wedding, may concern some people. They might want to be a little bit more tight. Marley gives them the opportunity to finance it, which means, again, to the cash flow point, people are able to keep more money in their pocket today and kind of spread it out over time. What impact during the time that you guys have been in business have you seen the economy have on your clients and the wedding industry?
Yeah, so definitely we've been seeing a trend. Post-COVID, there's a little let's have the biggest wedding as possible, largest wedding possible, And now we're seeing some tightening on consumer spending, and people want to have much more low-key weddings. And definitely agree with that point. But what I would tell to venue owners is that by adding Marley, you can make it so that, things would go back to the way it was like normally in a normal environment, and having, couples being able to, put their payment on installment plans, and, in an environment that doesn't necessarily allow them to pay it all up front. And so that's where we see it going. And so with the venues on our platform, instead of offering smaller packages, it's the opposite. The opposite is true. They're giving bigger packages and upselling more couples. And so we're bucking that trend, and we think it's only, especially in a recessionary environment, increase the top line growth for venue owners.
Absolutely. While also, having a wedding of someone's dreams maybe a bit more reachable with how expensive everything is.
Yeah. You don't have to push it off. You don't have to wait changing the dates from peak to off peak. And so, we're really bringing more optionality and empowering both the couple and the venue owner. And so, that's our mission and what we do every day, and gets us going and fired up. So, I don't spend much time outside, with hobbies or anything. Like, this is all I do. So I'm really excited about building in this space.
That's awesome, Josh. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate you coming on. We will put links to everything that you guys are doing, the links you get us in the descriptions. But where people find you online if they're just listening to the podcast right now? Yeah,
feel free to go to marleyfinance.com to learn a little bit more about, our platform and what we're doing. And if you have any questions, feel free to email Josh at marleyfinance.com or contact at marleyfinance.com, and we'll make sure we'll reach back out to you and, get a call set up and get to learn about you a bit more.
Perfect. And that's Marley, Marley.
Yeah, marleyfinance.com.
Perfect. Okay. Awesome. Are you guys on Instagram as well, or any other social media channels?
We're launching a social media campaign in the next few months, so that's going to be pretty exciting. I know most of weddings is on Instagram, and so we're trying to optimize everything as possible. We're trying to do it right. We're trying to do it, in an exciting way that's a little different. So stay tuned for that.
Awesome. Good stuff, Josh. Well, thanks so much for coming on the Venue RX today. This has been great, and I'm excited to see where Marley goes.
Thanks. I'm excited to work with more venues and, change the wedding industry one step at a time.
Awesome. Good stuff. Talk soon.
We document and share best practices around owning, operating, and managing world-class wedding venues.